this. So I want to teach you 3 things that'll take maybe about 10, 15 minutes. And then I truly just want to open it up to like Q&A, talk about what you're working with. That's the whole point of these calls. And that's what we were talking about on the leadership call, was that I think people are just inundated with information right now about do this, do that, go here, join this meeting, like be here. I think people are just getting so inundated with the task things that they need to do, and they're not digging deep in the needle moving things that need to get done. Because, for you, Lori, like a great example. Hey, Laura, I just want to say hello to her for jumping on. When you go through a change like that in your life, when, one of your family members isn't well, or somebody has to change a routine, you're like, oh my God, now I got to do A, B, C, D, E, F, G in this Beachbody business. And it's too overwhelming. What's out of A, B, C, D, E, F, G? What if I could pick one letter, what letter do you want me to do? Because that's all I really have time for. So that's what I want to teach you in the next 10 minutes is what's that moving letter for you when you've got all the letters of the alphabet being told that you have to do it, and then open it up for Q&A that we can just dive in and talk about what's going to move the needle forward for you. So I love to play with my algorithms and my, frameworks. So I came up with the framework DIG, because this is dig deep. So the D is for detox. And this is something that I want you to think about. Let me just mute,
whatever you want.
Let me just mute everybody quickly. Hang on one moment. Mute. There we go. And then you can unmute when you've got questions and that whole bit for sure. Feel free to unmute and jump in. It's a detox. What do you need to detox in your life right now? Is it negative thoughts? Is it the feeling of overwhelm? Is it pain or injury or something that's physically been bothering you? Like if you had to think about one thing in your life right now that is holding you back from breaking through to that next level or doing whatever it is that you want to do in this business or in your life in general, because we know that if we don't take care of ourselves first, are we frozen? Oh no, I think Lori's just frozen. Lori number 2, Lori number 1, you're with me, right? Lori K. Yeah. Okay. Awesome. And Laura's there. Oh, there, we lost her. Hopefully she'll come back. I was like, oh my God, are we frozen? And I'm like yapping away and nobody can hear me. So I'm like, what do you need to detox in your life? And I'll tell you that you guys know my story where I sat it out for 6 months, switched teams, came back in with Vito, came in with Hard Charger. And I've had such momentum in this 6 months than I've had in the 3 years that I was with the other team. And I'll tell you the one thing I really had to think about, what was that one thing that got me to this level? And it was, I had to detox the belief that I wasn't good enough, that I didn't have enough to add, that I couldn't do this, that I didn't have a network as big as other people, that I don't have any family members that support me. I don't have any family members that drink Shakeology, want to be a coach. You hear about these coaches that have brother, sister, cousin, aunt, mom, dad. So I was already making a case against myself as to why this was never going to work for me, but I was still going to give it my best shot. That was kind of my mentality before. As when I came back now, I was like, I can do this. I can grow my network. I can create assessments. I have knowledge. I can grow a team. I can be a leader. I can do personal development. I could take care of my own health. So I really had to detox that idea that I was just going to wing it and see how things happened, or I was already disadvantaged and there was no hope for me. I came back with a completely different mentality this time around. So think about in your business right now, what's the one thing that you need to detox in the next 30 days? I mean, we're coming on April 1st. We're coming into spring. What's that one thing you're going to detox this next month? Because if you can let that one thing go, I promise you it's going to move your business ahead. And if it's something physical, I know Laura, if it's Laura Marcaccio who's on with me, I think it's Laura. I know you've been dealing with some knee issues and some pain and that sort of stuff, right? It's and if it's physical, because you still want to put your best foot forward and be the role model and the example, maybe it's letting go of the thought that you've got to stick with a workout that maybe just isn't serving you at this time, right? How many of you have ever gotten into like a workout and everybody else is doing that workout, so you feel like you need to be in that 80-day obsession or you need to be doing it, but you're like, my knees hurt so bad. I am hurting. This is not fun. I don't enjoy this, right? Like if I had a group of coaches that were like, let's do size. No offense to Shaun T, but I'm like, that ain't my jam. Like I'd still be in the group. Hey, Angie. I would still be in the group. I would still do my thing, but I would do a different workout that served me. So I would let go of that thought that I had to do what everybody else was doing. So that's the first challenge I want to give you is what do you need to detox to move yourself forward? The second I, so the letter I in the dig, is ignite the possibility in your team. Ignite the possibility in your team, or ignite the possibility in yourself if you are not feeling it. If you're getting up and you're like, it's not fun in this business anymore. You're not reaching out to people. Before you can ignite possibility in someone else, you got to ignite the possibility in yourself. And I think that falls in line with after you detox, you'll feel a lot cleaner and clear-headed and more confident. But ignite the possibility in your team. And the reason why I use the word ignite is because you can't be responsible for what other people do in this business, right? I think that was thinking back, again, and what I did wrong the first time around was I just kept trying to pull people along, like dragging people through quicksand. You can't. They have to want it themselves, but you have to make sure that you are giving them the systems to succeed, like that healthy formula system, like an onboarding system, like your sales process or the way you do social media posting and your call to actions. We really do have to spell it out once you've got a process that's worked. And I want to share with you really quickly a process for me that has worked. It's very ironic with the healthy formula. When I make a post on social media and I say, like, I can help you fill out this assessment, would love to dig deeper with your health, crickets. Like nobody fills it out. And I'm like, I've tried like funky social media graphics, black and white photos, crickets. I got 39 healthy formula assessments filled out in the last 3 days. And this was the message that I sent to people. Hey, Michelle, I was wondering if you'd be willing to help me out. I'm testing this new health survey that I created, and I want to run 100 people through it. It helps me get to the root of what's jacking people up in terms of energy, productivity, their gut, their sleep, and overall how they look and they feel. It's a free assessment and it takes 10 to 15 minutes max. Would you be willing to help me out? If so, here's the link. Every single person's like, heck yeah, I'll help you out. Sure, I'll fill it out for you. And that's opened the conversation where a lot of people are like, damn, I never really realized like how bad my health is. Can you help me? So people want to, again, like ignite that possibility. People want to be a part of something. When I'm like, I want to run 100 people through it, I'm testing it, I'm collecting data, they want to stand by that because they feel like people want to be helpful. So I thought that was very interesting that switch in language and the way that I did that got such a great response. So now I'm going to be able to go back, see if they want to. I mean, and some people might be like, no, I don't want to talk about this. I really just wanted to help you, with your assessment. But that's okay because then they don't want to make any, they've already, deselected themselves because they don't want to do anything in health and fitness. But the people that are like, yeah, sure, let's talk about it. I've now found a way to open the door and ignite the possibility in them about what could happen in their life if we made some changes, right? So I plan on sharing this. Yeah, I will. I'll copy and paste it for sure. Actually, I might just do a thing in hard chargers for everyone just because it got a great success. Sorry, they're screaming toddler in the background. This is real life. With his shirt on backwards and won't let me change it. Yep, you got baby there. I'm like, this is when the kids aren't at school or we got babies, we come as we are, right? So yes, I will absolutely share. You got it. Share that wording. So when we talk about igniting the possibilities, I think that's also looking at when things aren't working, change it up. and do something different, because it's okay to say things aren't working. Like, I'm like, how the hell can things, I have these like amazing social media graphics. I'm like, how the hell, like, why don't people want to fill out my assessment? I don't understand. So I'm like, instead of slamming them with more social media graphics, I'm like, I'm just going to reach out and send people personal messages. And it took me maybe an hour to send like 39 messages, because I was copy and pasting like the second part of that. But the first part of it, if I had some sort of like personal relationship with them, like I'd be like, hey, Michelle, so great to see you at work yesterday. You know, love the way you were helping out that resident. Or, you know, hey, saw you just had a birthday, or it was your mom. Like, you want to make it personalized. So when I say send those messages out, don't copy and paste the same thing to every person, because that's icky. That's icky salesy, and that's not coming, you know, from the right place. Yeah, Laura, I promise I will, I'll share it in our team page, and I'll share it in HCU. So again, that kind of ignited the possibility in me, again, going back to that detoxing negative beliefs that I had to do, that I was like, okay, I can figure this out. All right, my first attempt at this sucked, but I sent this and I got a great response from this. So I need to believe in myself that I can just switch it up and get the results that I want, right? So I think igniting the possibilities is not being afraid to change it up when it's not working, making a personal connection with people, spelling out the how-to like this with your team, and then constantly just checking in and following up and being like, how's that going? How's that going? Because I think igniting the possibilities in this was, I was like, I'm running 100 people through this because I want to see the trends. Like, make it meaningful, put there a purpose to it. I don't think we share the why with people enough. And then I want to pull up the message that I sent to people, and forgive me if I'm looking on my, so this is the next thing that I sent to people in the process. So after they filled it out, I put it in HCU, like the follow-up video that I send to people, but here's what I wrote in the email. So here's the next piece of it. So the email tagline, like the headline, I wrote, I know I talk about poop. So that's what I put, because tell me if you saw an email in your inbox that said, I know I talk about poop. Would you open it? I would totally open that, right? As opposed to, because I ask them about their poop in my assessment. And instead of being like, here's your healthy formula follow-up, like that's going to go with all the rest of the spam that's out there. Oh my God, cute baby bum. Totally squirrel brain looking at Angie's little babe. And no, don't apologize. I love it. So I wrote, I know I talk about poop. And then I wrote, thank you so much for filling out my healthy formula assessment. I know I got all up in your stuff, but I promise there was a purpose to it. It helps me look at trends, habits, and what's going on with our demographic of working women, working moms. I'd like to share with you why I created this assessment. I'm an RN and a trainer in just about every certification you can imagine around health and nutrition, but that's not what's important, and I don't think you care about my credentials. What's important is that I wasted many years of my life trying to fit into a certain size, live by food rules, exercise and move in ways I didn't enjoy because I thought that was how it had to be, spent hours on cardio machines, and really, I wasted a lot of precious time. I've also been built like a brick shit house at one time in my life, and that didn't necessarily make me happy either. What did was finding out what I wanted to look like and feel like, and then matching my eating, nutrition, my habits, and my goals with it. I know it's a big ask for some of us to love ourselves every day, and if you don't, I want that for you. I want you to look in the mirror and feel badass. And if you're already there, then we've got big mountains to climb to get to that next level of performance or health, because you know there is one for you. But most importantly, no matter where you are, how old you are, what you look like, I want you to be happy. I want you to make sure your health is the way you want it, because it's so different for everyone else. And I truly don't want to waste your time. There's a lot of trends and fads out there and short-term things that temporarily work, but I want to help you find that happy place in the middle. I found that happy place between obsession and restriction, of high performance in life, and making the most of the short time we have on earth. I appreciate you helping me look at these trends. I appreciate your honesty. Know that I'm here for you, and I'll be reaching out to see if you want to have a follow-up chat. In case we don't chat, I want to leave you with this video explaining why I asked the questions I did and why I created this. And I put the video in there. Looking forward to following up with you in the next week or so. And if you celebrate Easter, a very, very happy Easter to you. So that's the follow-up message, that thank you. And I'll put that in there as well, that you guys can see that. So you can edit that, you can take that. Again, you want to make it you. But if you saw there where I'm igniting the possibilities, like I'm telling about me and why I created this, how I want to serve them, where I want to take them, because I don't want them following fancy fads and trends. I don't want them living by food rules. I don't want them spending hours on a cardio machine. I mean, we could talk forever about this, but you get the idea that I don't think we share enough the why we do what we do. And people want to get by the why. They want to understand the why. And then again, igniting that possibility, saying, I want you to be happy. I want you to realize that time is short and let's make the most of it. Or if a person that filled out my assessment is already super fit, crazy gym goer, 6-pack abs, I'm like, there's a next level for you. And I want to help you achieve that. So it's igniting that possibility. So I wanted to share that with you. And then lastly, the G is just grow your network. Like we underestimate how much we've got to get out there. And we do so much online, which is great. But recently I connected with a nurse that I worked with that does Jamberry, which is like a nail, like an MLM nail thing. To each his own, right? We all find our own MLM that we love or network marketing that we love. And she literally said to me though, she's like, so great to connect with you. Next Friday, I'm going to this women in business, women in network marketing event at like a local coffee shop. So if you want to come with me, I'm like, absolutely, I'll come with you. So even though other people are not in the same network marketing business as you, don't underestimate that they have contacts and they have people and they know people. So as much as we want to do an online business, get out in the community and go to local events when you can. I mean, now you might, like Lori, we were talking about earlier, like if you've got crisis in your life, you're not going to be like, here, husband, watch my 6 kids while I go to a network marketing event, right? But when the dust settles and you can, think about, right now you might have to stay online, but when you can get offline, get out and meet people. I live in the Hamilton area. So there's this like online group, Hamilton's a city, and it's called Hamilton Fempreneurs. There's like a couple thousand people in this group. And it's the same thing. It's like just women in business that want to support each other locally in our area. And I get lots of contacts from there. And so, are there online groups you can get into? What does Angie say? So true. I put samples. Amazing, right? And that leads in, exactly, Angie, that leads into the next point that I want to make is it's not enough to just get in a page, like ask to be accepted, get in a page. It's not enough to just go to an event. You've got to leave your mark. You've got to share with people how you can help them. So when you get in a Facebook group, make a little video, or if you're not comfortable on video, make a post that's just like who you are, what you do, and how you can serve others. Because if you go in the group talking about here's how I can help you, people are more likely to know, like, and trust you, want to have a conversation with you, leave samples, leave your mark, leave something that can serve other people so that they remember you. So those are that's how I'm growing my network right now. I'm getting into a lot of local, or just, I have another one called the International Businesswoman Group or something, I think it is. And they're literally from all over the world. I'm in that one. So I'm trying to get in more pages of like-minded businesswomen together. And then anyone that I friend request, if we have like friends of a friend, mutual friends, and they accept it, I leave them a quick, 30-second to a minute video that I post on, I private message them with it. And I'm just like, hey, thank you so much for accepting me. My name's Lisa. I live in Canada. I've got a little guy. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a trainer. I'm really passionate about helping people build the business they want and the body they want. That's like my tagline, right? You got to kind of get a tagline, or you got to get your elevator pitch. So give them the elevator pitch and just be like, if there's any way that I can serve you and help you, I'd be so honored to do that. I just love connecting with you. And thanks again for the acceptance, or for the like, or for whatever it is, right? So again, we talk about grow your network, add 5 people, make connections. But I don't think it's about quantity. It's about quality. Again, that dig deep, go deeper with people. Take 30 seconds, even if it's the same video you send to every person. That's literally your elevator pitch. Send that, right? Every lead that I get from Beachbody that they give me, I have a little video that just tells them about who I am, what I do. I'm your coach, would love to have a follow-up conversation. Like, make it more personal, I think is what I'm trying to say, right? So just really don't be afraid to get personal with people. So we're at 10:30. So those are my 3. So the D, to dig deep, detox, any negative beliefs, any pains, any worries, any anxiety, any beliefs that you're not good enough, you can't do it. I ignite the fire in yourself, ignite the fire in your team, show them the systems. Don't be afraid if it's not working to try something different. I promise I'll put that email script and that, message that I sent. I'll post that for you guys for sure. And the G, grow your network, get personal with people, leave your mark, really try to get out there. Like, I don't know about you guys, but I've been a coach now for 2012 is when I joined. That's scary. 13, 14, 15, 16, so 6 years. Oh my God, I've been a coach. I took that little break there when I switched teams, but like my network, my warm market network, my Facebook followers, they know what I'm doing. Like, they know I'm a Beachbody coach. They know if they want something Beachbody related. Like, my network is pretty tapped. So, and again, that's maybe a little bit of a negative belief and maybe a little bit of the truth. I'm not sure if that's somewhere in the middle that I'm living. I still got to work that out in my brain. But I feel like me just doing that, like posting a social media graphic saying, fill out this assessment, it's not going to work. Me posting a picture of my shake, they've seen that 3,000 times over. Me posting a selfie after my workout, they've seen it. They're not gonna engage with that. So that's why for me, I'm like, I got to get personal. I got to send personal messages, or I got to post other things. That's why I'm podcasting more and blogging more. Like, so don't be afraid if things aren't working to switch it up and try something different. Because if you've been a coach for a couple of years, or if you're a new coach and people don't know what the heck you're doing, sharing that why, like I did in my email, is so important. People have to understand why you're doing what you're doing. And don't be afraid to get vulnerable and get real with people about why you're doing what you're doing. People love the story. They love to know about you and they want to know that. So those are my kind of dig deep tips this next month going into April and spring and a beautiful time of rebirth and renewing. Those are my tips for you. So let me unmute everyone, or you guys can unmute yourself. I don't think I have you like locked on mute, do I? I don't believe so. So let me unmute you. And if you need to mute yourself, go ahead. But okay, what can I help you with now? What questions do you have? Like what you working on? What you doing? Okay. Yes, Laura, I love you too. Thanks for hopping in, and we'll absolutely connect and talk. Message me, okay? Direct message me and we'll set it up. All right, sister. Hope you're doing well. Happy Easter. All right. So, yeah, you got it, girlfriend. All right, guys. What can I help you with? Speak to me.
Laurie, do you want to go first?
There's two, Lori, there's Lori 1 and Lori 2. This is Angie Guy. She's from the UK. Listen to her. Listen to her accent. I
speak funny, just to warn you.
You're beautiful. I love it. Okay, who's going first?
Well, I have a quick question. I noticed that you were doing the podcasting, which is awesome. And it looks like you're also doing like some serious Zooming with your people, because I've scoped out your page. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
No, it's good.
So like what is how are you doing that? Like what kind of things are you doing with your when you do those little things like that? So what is like on your agenda with those?
Mm-hmm. So it's more about building that authority, that education-based marketing. That I was just having a chat with Anna Render about that yesterday, about how people think the healthy formula is the first part of the process. It's not. All the pre-work that you do up to that healthy formula is where the magic happens. So in terms of process-wise, I blog, so I podcast on Mondays, and then usually my guy that I pay that helps me like put the bumper, music in the beginning and the music at the end, I outsource that. It costs me $50 a podcast, costs me $200 a month. I happily outsource it because I'm like, good God, I don't know how to splice music. And I'm just like, not my circus, not my monkeys, not worth my time. That would take me hours to figure that out. So I record the podcast on Monday. whether that's myself speaking or I have guests that I reach out to that I try to, again, just growing my network. I try to get on there. And then that gets posted on Thursdays. He loads that for me. And then I blog on Tuesdays and I turn that into an email. So I tweak the wording a little bit, and then once a week, my list gets an email with that blog that I created. So I multi-purpose the content. Same thing with the podcast. I load that. I take the video recording of it and I load it on YouTube. So I kind of multi-purpose content. I go live. I have like a VIP students page. Anyone that's ever bought anything from me, purchased anything from me, anyone I've ever coached, you got it, like Angie's in it, anybody's in my personal downline, like anybody that I've ever done business with or is connected with me goes into that page. And for a while, I put the pressure on myself that I had to go live in there. I had to do something in there every day. But people aren't like us. They're not that hungry for information that they're going to digest that every day. So once a week, I go live. So usually that's a Monday or a Tuesday around there. I go live in that page, quick, short, little like 5-10 minute videos talking about like their action item for the week or the one thing I want them to work on for the week. And I go live in that page. And then what else do? I go live on Thursdays in my business and wellness, like my like page. So I go live in my VIP page, people that are your movement or your, no, that's not your movement page. Your like VIP page is my like page. I go live in there. And then Thursday, I go live on my open like page. So that's public, that's open for everyone. And again, I teach them something there, a thought of the week, a teaching of the week. Now that's business and wellness. So sometimes I talk business, sometimes I talk wellness, sometimes I talk both, but I always let them know this is about business. So if you're not interested, peace out. I'm cool with that. This is about wellness. You should listen because we all need wellness. And Friday I go live in my Beachbody page and my personal downline page. And I try to just teach them something there as well. So what's trending now on Facebook is the groups. They really like when they're recommending that you have movement groups and VIP groups, and you're doing all your business is from your like page, not from your personal page anymore. Amy Porterfield says your personal page is literally like a magazine all about you. So it really is just awareness that people just like want to know about you, your kids, your life, your likes, your dislikes, like whatever you want to share on that personal page is not business. There may be business weaved into it, but it's more just personal, social. And that's what's trending on Facebook as well. Your business page is where all your lives, like I don't go live from my personal page at all. Unless, yes, that's okay, Angie. Unless it's like, I'm at a show with my kids or like, I don't teach live from my personal page at all anymore. I do everything from my business page because that's the way Facebook wants us to go. Is the engagement great over there? It's not. It's crickets. If I went live on my personal page, I'd get 10, 20, 30 people tuning in, but I got to honor that struggle and play the long game and realize that the business page will grow over time. Right now, it's just crickets, but that's the growing pains and you do it anyway, right? So in terms of like how I do that, that's how I serve kind of every week with podcasts, blogs, live videos, emails, YouTube, that sort of stuff. And it sounds like it's a lot, but it's not because I literally have the block time and I know that's like my one needle moving activity for the day, or that's my one like thing that I'm doing. I'm like, today I'm podcasting. That's it. Tomorrow I'm blogging. Today I'm going live in this page. Today I'm going live in this page. So I just have it blocked that I'm not trying to tackle all of that. If I can help it, I try to talk about the same topic everywhere because that creates continuity with your listeners and that creates continuity with the topics that again, we think people can digest the sun, the moon, and the stars and 10 different things. They can't. Like if you're talking about the same thing, like I might take time management and I might tweak it for different audiences in different ways and different things, but I have, you're welcome, Angie, but I've got like a universal kind of topic that I hit on, through everything. So that's kind of my thought there, because then when I do ask, like in this message that I sent to people where I'm like, hey, would you help me out? Would you fill out this assessment? People are willing to do it because I've given them so much value throughout the week. Because they know I'm not icky salesy because I'm like, I blog, I podcast, I go live, I post on social media, like I show up in their newsfeed and in their life. that they realize that it's not just a random one-off post here or random thought here, you know, and then all of a sudden I'm like, hey, fill out this assessment. They're like, no, thank you. Like, who are you? What are you doing? I don't understand. I haven't heard from you. You know, like I've seen a lot of my coaches, which I got to give them some tough love. They're not consistently posting on social media. And then I saw a couple of them just made a post about, oh, we're going into round 2 of 80-day obsession. And I'm like, that's going to get crickets. I'm like, great message, great intention, great thought, but you haven't done the work. You haven't done the freebie education-based marketing, building the authority, give before you ask work prior. So I encourage you, and that's not to say you have to start a blog, get a podcast, do YouTube. If you're just using social media, you're just using Facebook, you're just using Instagram, I encourage you to go back and look at your page and how much value have you given before you've asked someone to join a group, learn more about coaching, like whatever it is. Make sure that you're giving.
Can I ask you a question, Lisa?
Sure.
Where do you get all your value from that you provide to people? Because, you know, you don't just know it, you know. So where are you gathering, you know?
That's a great question. You do know it. We all have value that we can share. We all have stories. We all have enough to share. So that's like a detoxing limiting belief. If you're like, I don't know what to share, I got nothing. Oh, baby, do you got something? An exercise that Bo Eason makes us do in the storytelling stuff is you have to write down 10 facts, 10 random facts about yourself that nobody would know. Hang on, let me grab my book. Give me like 10 seconds. I want to see if I can find it. So he's like, when you're stuck for content, you write down 10 random facts that are like the 10 coolest things about you. I'll see if I can find it really quickly in my book. And you pull from that because you can pull a lesson. Oh, here, 10 coolest things about me. So I wrote, I have 3 tattoos, a lion, a sparrow, and a peacock. I met my hubby in the Dominican. It was love at first sight. I used to sing karaoke every weekend. I love music. I lost 100 pounds into the fitness competition. I did CPR at a gym and saved a man's life. True story. My grandfather was a coal miner and taught me hard work. I went 44 weeks pregnant. I was 4 weeks late. Oh my God. My childhood best friend was adopted. So this was just like not 10 coolest things about me, but like 10 coolest things. I know 44 weeks, that kid was never coming out, I tell you. When I cook, I sub ingredients all the time. My husband gets so pissed at me. I'm like, I just put parsley in place of oregano. He's like, no, changes the whole. I'm like, we don't have this herb. I can just throw this herb in there. He's like, love, you can't do that. And I was told that I have Viking in my ancestors. I'm part of Viking, which is pretty cool. So you can take a story about that to be like, oh my God, did you know I went 44 weeks pregnant? Talk about misery, talking about being uncomfortable, talk about the mindset that I had to have to not want to murder this child before he was born because he was making me so damn uncomfortable. Like, have you ever had something so beautiful and amazing and you were so excited about, but you feel like the process is so hard or the process isn't going the way you wanted it to go? Like, there's so many, like, so think about, write down that 10 coolest things about you, but then what's the lesson, right? Like, I got Viking in me. That means there's like a little bit of badass somewhere in me that I got to bring out sometimes, right? Or, you know, cooking, subbing ingredients, you got to stick to the plan. Even when you want you got to know the right time to improvise and the right time to stick to the plan. Like, there's so many lessons you can strum up from that. And that's just your stories, right? So write down like the 10 coolest things about you, or 10 facts that no one knows about you, or 10 things you've experienced in your life, and start there. Or find your buckets that you want to teach people. Like, mine are like time management, fitness, nutrition, health, building an online business. Those are kind of like, or like parenting lifestyle sometimes is in there. Like find your buckets that you want to talk to people about, and you can go from there as well, where you're like, maybe I just want to share the healthy recipe of this week or a win of this week or something. So you gotta be willing to open the doors to your life to dig deep, to pull out what you already know. It's not about, like I said in my email, I'm a nurse and I have every certification under the sun, but I highly doubt you care about that. You care about what I know, what I think. You care about my perspective. So in addition to your 10 coolest things, write out something like your universal truths. Like a universal truth I have is that love is love. I don't care if you're lesbian. I don't care if you're gay. I don't care if you're straight. I don't care if you're 20 and you love a 50-year-old. Like if it works for you, it works for you, baby. I ain't here to judge. Like love is love, right? That's like a universal truth I have. Or everybody deserves, a lot of people know my background growing up in a really abusive environment, that like love is unconditional. Love doesn't have to be earned. Like you were born perfect. You were born already loved. Like that's a universal truth of mine. So like think about what are some universal truths, right? Michelle Obama, when they go low, we go high. Like love that. That's a universal truth. Like what are some of your universal truths and perspectives you can share with people? So that's how I kind of come up with content. I either pull from a story. I think about my perspective. If I've watched a personal development video from like Brendan or Mel or like the PD guys that I follow, I'll share a learning from that. I'll adapt it so I'm not stealing it. Obviously, you never want to steal other people's stuff. But if you watch like even like a Goalcast video, I see so many people sharing Goalcast videos, which are awesome. But don't forget that you got to put your perspective in there. Don't just share it. Be like, wow, this video really spoke to me. Like the one I think that's going around now about don't put on sunglasses. Like don't dull your sparkle. If people can't handle your shine, tell them to put on sunglasses, right? Amazing. But it's not enough to just share it. You've got to be like, one time in my life, I did dull my sparkle for other people or something. Like tell a story about it. Tell your perspective about it and then share it. So you can either steal other people's stuff. You just got to share your perspective about it. So that's kind of my go-to. I go to my buckets, I go to my stories, or I share other people's stuff, but I take a spin on it and make it my own. But share you. Before you go share other people's stories and other people's stuff, people want to know you. They want to help you. They want to know you. They want to get in with you. Did that answer your question?
I have one more question for you. Yeah. Going off of that. So I know you said that you didn't have like, sorry, you said you didn't have a lot of support.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
How do you deal? I've talked to Lori about this. So Lori and I are success partners.
Awesome.
So we talk a lot, but there's a lot of things that we both withhold from sharing because of the other people who are online watching us. So like just family members and whatnot that would be potentially offended by some of these stories that are, really huge for our development. And really, a lot of things about my parents affected my childhood and my thought patterns that I had to spend a lot of time retraining as an adult or after finding all this, Beachbody personal development stuff. So I can't, so how do you deal with that?
Yeah, that's a super delicate, awesome question. Yeah, it was interesting when I wrote my first book because when I was seeing a therapist for like all my shit, right? Like it took me like 35 years till I finally went to therapy, which was the best thing ever when I finally went to therapy. But I showed her my book and I was like, here's what I like the draft of it. And I'm like, here's what I really want to write. But I'm like, my parents are still alive. So I'm like, how do I? And she literally said to me, after they die, you'll write the book that you want to write. And I'm like, that's true. But I'm like, what do I do in the meantime? Because I have a message and a story and I want to tell it. And so there's like one of two things you can do. If you feel like you can have a level-headed conversation with the person that you want to tell the story about, you have the conversation and just say, I really think, Mom, that, or whoever it is, that my story will serve a lot of people because this was my learning. It's not about you. Like, long story short, it's not about you. It's not about painting you as the worst mother ever. It's not about this. It's not about that. It's purely about teaching people and helping people. And like with my book that I put out, the therapist was like, you're probably going to say to your mom, there are some things in this book that might upset you. And that's just the way that it's going to be. And I'm sorry if that upsets you, but I still have to live true into what my purpose is. And that's serving people, helping people, teaching people. It makes me feel good when I help people. And I'm sorry that this might upset you, but this is the way that I do it. If you have a level-headed person that can come to common ground with you, if you don't, if you grew up like that wouldn't work with my mom, by the way. Like if you I grew up in a little coal mining bubble where it was like, we are the parents, you are the child, we are always right, you are always wrong, you will listen to me, you will be obedient. Like there is no level-headed with like my family. So you tell the story, but you don't name names, and you just talk about the universal truth where it's like, I mean, you don't want to be like, my mom told me I was like my mom told me I was fat and useless every single day. Like I wouldn't come out and be like, my mom told me I was fat and useless every single day. I would say something like, I've been criticized in my life about the way I look, about my capabilities, and that really held me back from using my voice or standing up for myself. You know, I became a nurse when I didn't want to. I dated men that were terrible for me because I was always chasing that love and perfection, or I never could pick my own path because my path was dictated for me. Like, so I share it in like a broad kind of sense that I'm not saying like my mom screwed me up. It's all your fault, mom. Right? Because that can be troublesome. But if you take the universal truth or the core concept of criticism, judgment, abuse, like whatever it was, you can still flip the story without naming names, you know, without saying growing up in my household. Like you don't even have to say stuff like that. When you say like, have you ever been criticized? Have you ever been judged? Have you ever been lied to? Have you ever been abused? Have you ever, you know, or not even abused, like, you know, like, have you ever had your rights violated? Have you ever felt like you were silenced and couldn't speak for yourself? Like those are universal like thoughts, instead of saying like, my mom told me I couldn't do this, or my dad did this to me, or, you know, there was a scandal in my family, and once I found out the truth, I was mortified or angry or whatever it is. So that's a way that you can kind of share those stories. And in terms of getting support from those kinds of people, well, I hate to say it, but that's like, I hate the phrase beating a dead horse because that is a terrible visual to me, but that's like, that's it. Like my parents, we're estranged now, but even when I was successful in my business, they thought it was some like side hobby thing that I was just like they have no idea that I'm like a successful business and wellness coach. And they'll probably never accept that ever. And they probably won't ever care. And that's just the lay of the land in my life. And it's like, I do my thing and I run with the people that support me and I grow other leaders. And like, you got to get to the point where you're like, I'm on my path and this is my mission and I'm going for it. And whatever happens, happens. You don't want to be a jerk. You don't want to purposely try to upset them and be like, well, I'm going to tell a story about you, mom, because you messed me up for 30 years of my life. Like, you don't want to do that. But for me, I had to think about, you know, actually Vito said this to me, which really struck home with me. And to this day, I still remember, he said to me in 4.0, he said, do you want to build a business that scratches the surface, or do you want to build a business that goes deep with people? And I knew that if I wanted to build a business that went deep with people, that I had to tell my stories. I had to craft a nice way to do it, that I didn't purposely point the finger at people that had done me wrong in my life. But you're right. You do realize when you're like, oh my God, I'm this way because this happened. Oh my God. And then you've got to tell that story, right? Let's see what Lori's saying. Melanie Mature shared how her family. Yeah, it's super common, right? And I think part of that is, you know, I want to believe that part of that is protection. They don't want to see us get hurt. They don't want to see us spend a lot of time on something that isn't worth it. They don't want to see us, you know, put a lot of money into something that we're maybe not going to get our return on investment. They just like I think about my parents, and I don't know if your parents are the same. My parents are like blue collar, hardworking, coal mining, live in the bubble. Like entrepreneur, they're like, what? They're like, you go to work, you punch your card, you keep your head down, you don't speak up for yourself, you don't make waves, you do what you got to do, you be thankful you have a job, you clock out, you come home, you eat your dinner, you watch your TV, and you go to bed. Like, my mom wants to know when the next episode of Family Feud is on or what soap opera she can watch, and that's what she looks forward to. Like, and that's just her. Like, that's just, my family was raised in that blue collar, hardworking, be thankful, Great Depression, be thankful you had a job. Like, they can't wrap their head around entrepreneurship. And it's not really their fault, right? It's like, if they want to adapt and be like, I'm happy for you, child, that's what most parents should do. But I don't have parents that will do that. So, like, when I would tell my parents, like, I'm going to HPA, why do you want to do that? Why do you want to go to an event in California and drop $3,000? And because it grows my like, it's just like, forget it, right? It's like, even my in-laws are like that. Like, they're always like, go sip a mojito on the beach and have fun. And we're like, dear God, that is not sipping mojitos on the beach. Like, we're in a conference room learning. Like, they just don't get it. And sometimes you have to just accept that, that they're just not going to get it. Yeah, where was it? It's not in Cali. It was in Arizona or something, I think, this time around.
Yeah, in September, it's in Arizona too.
Yeah. Oh, which Arizona ain't too bad. I've been there for one of Brendan's masterminds. It's hot as hell.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. Did I put this in the wrong year? Oh, no, I didn't. Okay. So hopefully that answered your question. What are the questions you all have? We got time. We got like 10 minutes left. Anything else you're working on or thoughts? Angie, what you got, girlfriend?
Okay, I'm hoping the children won't interrupt. And excuse my accent. Lisa is used to it.
Excuse it. We love it.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope you don't have to translate. What did she say? For me, as you know, because I'm quite visual online doing my main business, which is coaching, would you say in terms of positioning, I should start speaking more about Beachbody or continuing to build those relationships as a sideline, as an add-on? Because I'm still in that phase, as you know. Do I really shout it from the rooftops? I'm happy to share my fitness and wellness story. But I don't tend to do the whole Beachbody thing. And again, this is mindset, as you say. It's something I need to work on because of the whole network marketing thing. In the past, I've had people, say, oh, you're doing that now, so it's kind of been a negative response as conversations have got deeper. So I'm trying to navigate very carefully how I go about incorporating it into what I do already.
Yeah, that's an amazing question. Amazing question. And real true struggle that lots of people have. Yeah. My answer to you would be, you don't need to shout it from the rooftops. You don't need to become the Beachbody poster board. You need to do what you're already doing in terms of build the authority as a coach with your people and help them understand why health and fitness and wellness is so important. Because once they understand the link, that they need to really be looking at what they're eating, are they moving, how are they sleeping, what's their energy like, what's their stress level, are they drinking energy drinks and reaching for 17 cups of coffee? So I think it's positioning that health and fitness is important, so it has a piece in all your programs, and then B, that you have a solution for that. Because once they know, like, and trust you, they'll follow whatever you tell them to do. Like, if you are like, we're going to do this, detoxing or this clearing, and you're like, you have so much stress, you put so much crap in your body. You wouldn't say it like this, but you're like, you put so much crap in your body, right? You're like, you're jacking your body up with energy drinks and McDonald's and fried food, or you're having 7 crumpets at night with your cup of tea or whatever, is true to life there. That you're like, before we do anything else in your life, we got to get your health back in check. And here's what I use, or here's what I do, or here's what I've seen successful. That they're going to be like, okay, what do you do? I'll do it. Like, what do you recommend? Right? Or even if you have it as like a recommended, or a recommended tool that they need for your program, Or make it an optional tool, optional Shakeology.
I took your advice and did it as an add-on in terms of the next phase of group programs. So definitely emphasize in terms of groups and Facebook groups. I would love to just do the one big group, the one community group. At the moment, I've put Beachbody as a side group in terms of spoke about legacy and so on for those that went through a previous challenge. So something to think about, definitely, and something to emphasize, as you say, into the existing story. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, I think for some people that don't have a brand, Beachbody has to be their front side because that's their primary business driver. That's what they do. That's their revenue stream. For us that have, but really everybody should have their own brand. Even if you are a Beachbody coach, you should still have your own core concepts, your own core teachings, your own signature programs. It's just, instead of you having to create something health and fitness related, you've got a go-to solution for them. And the more that they see that you're fast tracking their results, helping them feel better quicker, they're not going to care that it's Beachbody. They're going to be like, oh, great. Like, I haven't worked out in 10 years. And now, like, I feel I can go crush that, coaching call, or I can go be more patient with my kids because I got my workout in first thing in the morning. They're not going to care when you emphasize the importance of the workout. They're not going to care if you tell them go run the nearest stairs to you or go do this Beachbody on demand workout. They're going to do whatever you tell them, as long as you've weaved it in your programs or you've stressed the importance of it. So that's what I would recommend to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a great, and I know other people listening, the questions that you guys are asking are really going to serve other people too. These are incredible questions. So awesome. Okay, Lori, you got anything else? We got Angie, we got Lori K.
I do really want to say, I love these. You actually gave us some assignments. So I do really, one thing that we're always being told is, yes, you can get all this information, but acting on it. So I know for myself, I definitely, after I get off this call, I'm going to do my best to at least get started. I have to leave shortly after. And then but I want to go back to it. I do want to write down those 10 random facts about myself. And all of these other little assignments you gave us, I really feel like these are really great ones. So I'm hoping anybody that does listen to this call does act on these different lessons you had given us too. Thank you for those.
You're welcome. And it's you guys that I want to celebrate, that you're here and you're learning, like on a holiday, whether you celebrate Easter or not, on a Friday, on a holiday with kiddos running around. It's like, going back to that first original Detox, like, don't give up on yourself. Like, you're here and you're doing it and you're putting in the work and you're worth it. And you've got a story and you've got a message and you've got perspective and you've got teaching, and you have all the capabilities inside of you to go and crush this business, to help, to serve a lot of people, whether it's through a personal brand or a mix of both or whatever it is. When you do the work and you get focused about it, that's when things are just going to naturally kind of fall in place for you. So exactly. So show up, keep learning, take these, assignments and these things and really do it. And that's the one thing, if you're like, this week, I'm just going to work on the 10 coolest things about me and what the teaching lesson is with it. Block out all the other distractions and make that your go-to thing that you master and you crush, because then you can test it and you could see, oh my God, I told that story and I got 50 likes, or I got engagement, or I started that conversation with people. Then you know more of where to right the ship and where to go. But if you're trying to do back to that original thing where it's like A, B, C, D, E, F, G, you're trying to network, you're trying to do this, you're trying to do 100 things. You're like, well, what's working? What's not working? I don't know. So, that could be a whole month of April, what I gave you, a game plan for each week, for the whole month of April. So absolutely go, take it, do it. And I loved spending this time with you, with Angie and her beautiful accent from the UK, and my Lori sandwich, Lori and Lori, even spelled the same way, Lori, Lori M and Lori K sandwich. That was great. So I'll post this. I promise I'll post those scripts and things as well, so you guys have it. You can tweak it. You can use it. Again, remember, make it your language. That don't steal. You're more than welcome to steal my language. I'm okay with it. But people are going to call BS. If you wouldn't say, I'm sorry I talked about poop, or I talked about poop, people are going to be like, what is she? What? Right? Make it your own and go out and serve. I believe in you. I know you're going to do great things, and I'm proud to be on this journey with you. So love you guys lots. And thank you. Yes, you got it. So I'll post everything, and go have a beautiful time with your family this weekend. All right, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
You're welcome. Bye. You got it.
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome. Bye, beautiful.
Great. Thank you.
You're welcome. See you.